Good morning. Everyone's awake this service. My name is Michaela Amaya. This is my husband.
I'm Devin Amaya. Excuse me. Sorry, I am Devin Amaya.
A little growly. We are with Cope Ministry, and many of you are probably very familiar with Cope Ministry and Barb O'Donoghue's work with the people of West Pokot, Kenya. We started working as the directors in 2020 after Barb unfortunately passed away. Well, it was 2020 when she passed away. Right? Yeah. It went fast, guys. But we have been working really hard with this region since then, and a little bit about us. I grew up here, I grew up in Clinton, but in central Illinois, I grew up going to Little Galilee Christian Camp every summer and going to First Christian Church in Clinton and hearing Barb share her stories of these people and this amazing community my whole childhood. I never imagined I would end up working with the people of West Pokot, but God works in amazing ways. And after we got out of the military, we were both in the military, that's where we met. I was a combat medic for 6 years, and he was a combat medic for 12 years. I outranked him though, guys, don't worry. So after we got out of the military, we wanted to continue serving in some way, and so we reconnected with Cope Ministry, and that is how all of this started. This is our family on the screen. We have 4 beautiful children. They're all in that picture, but my youngest is in my belly in that picture. She's 3 months old now. She was right about to come out in that picture. And she will be at our table. So you should come and see the cute baby and talk about Kenya with us after service today. Addie went with us on our last trip as a family when she was just 2 years old, and she had a blast, and she is a 3-year-old who boasts a second language of Kiswahili and a third language of Pokot. So she is a lot of fun. I have a scripture that I just wanted to share before we really get into what we're doing, because I feel like this really is like, you know how some people have life verses? This is kind of like the life scripture for Cope right now. And it's Matthew 25:35 through 40. And this is Jesus talking to the people about when God will interact with people again, like way at the end, whenever that comes. And it says, "For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" And the king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." And that is really what Cope is all about. Our whole mission is about reaching a marginalized people, a people that have very little resources at no fault of their own. It's just where they were born and what tribe they're in. And they desperately need physical and spiritual and mental just empowerment, and that is what we're there to do. And that really leads into our mission statement, which is to provide a Christian education for the children, the Pokot children, by empowering Christians and their communities to nurture their children spiritually, mentally, and physically, so that they can grow into local and national leaders who think and act from a Christian worldview. And we're really getting to see that because this year is the 25th anniversary of Cope Ministry being founded. And so now we have a whole generation who have grown up with Cope being in the valley. And before we were there was no mention of Jesus. We were the first interactions with the tribe that really brought Christianity. There was a mosque that was built just right before we got there. That was the only other religion that had come into the area from outside. And now a large part of the community would call themselves Christians. A little bit about where our mission is. We are in West Pokot, Kenya, which is on the western border of Kenya, which is in East Africa. It's a sub-Saharan region. If you're not familiar with Kenya and its geography, kind of think like Lion King. Like Lion King, like when Scar is in charge, guys. And so it's very desolate in the area that our people are in. And the tribe has grown significantly since it stopped being nomadic. And so now we have almost 100,000 people in the tribe. And we are the largest employer still with just 48 employees. So that means the only other sources of income are farming and their shambas, or the most common source of income is making alcohol out of corn. And the other option is to hire out your children and your spouses, the wives mostly, for labor. And so we're constantly battling those things and trying to come up with new forms of employment and showing people how to make money from making jewelry or carvings or beads and that sort of thing that we brought here from them to give them some revenue as well, that you can see on our table. But the area still doesn't have any running water or electricity. Our compound does, but it's the only source for the community right now of clean running water. And that means that all the people use the same river, the Suwam River, to get their drinking water and to bathe and go to the bathroom and to wash themselves and their clothes and to wash their cattle and to water their cattle, which obviously means that we have a lot of parasitic and bacterial diseases, and that's what's killing our kiddos. We still have a one in 5 kids don't make it to 5 years old right now in our tribe because of dirty water, and that is just something we're constantly fighting, and malnutrition, obviously. So these are some pictures of that.
So we have 3 pillars within COPE itself. We have education, evangelism, and outreach. Education has developed a lot since the last, or I guess in the last 25 years. When COPE was first founded, we had a very small schoolhouse that I believe it cost about $75 a month to build the schoolhouse and to hire a teacher to come out and teach the children basic arithmetic, basic alphabet, Kiswahili, I believe is what they first learned, and then started moving over into English. Today we have 3 school buildings that have 16 classes in them and 700 students. We go from PP1 all the way to grade 8. That's soon going to change to where we have 2 streams from PP1 to grade 6, and then 7 and 8 will transition out to secondary school. But currently we teach them math, English, Swahili, reading, writing, science, and agriculture has been a big step in their education. We had some children come back from secondary school and tend to our Cope House Shamba, and they built mounds up and planted on that so that when the rain comes, the rain will fill in around it and water the plants but not drown them out. So that is something that we've seen happen in our Cope House Shamba, our garden, as well as our schoolhouse Shamba, which is a lot bigger. This right here is our students. We have 700 kids in our school, and in the military we like to sound off quite a bit. So one thing that we say is God is good, and they respond with all the time. So I will continually get louder and louder until I'm trying to outscream 700 kids and they're trying to outscream me, and this will shake you to the core. Kayla's favorite part is
I love this
the
picture.
kids up front.
Yeah, because this picture was taken right after a start of a new year, and we just started 2 streams of preschool, which means we got 90 preschool students the day before this picture was taken. And that's why you see kids
facing the wrong way, talking to each other.
Wearing the wrong clothes, facing the wrong way. They don't even speak Swahili yet, these kids. They only speak Pokat, which is the tribal language. So we give all the teachers and the instructors, they speak in English or Swahili to help the kids learn faster, to just be completely surrounded by it. But they'll give them little hints in Pokat until they pick it up. But yeah, these kids are just lost in the sauce. It's my favorite.
So evangelism's next. Sorry, I got lost. I got excited about the kids. So evangelism in 1997, when COPE started, was very basic. The people would come and gather. That is Dr. Paul Boatman in the picture there. I'm doing just a basic church ceremony. I believe that's the
dedication of our school. That was the ceremony, yeah.
So that's something that we still do today, is dedications when we have new buildings. But today we now take out the Jesus film. And we used to take it out in a van. The kids would load up a big old generator, and then 4 people would, including the driver, our nurse, a preacher, and one of the cooks from from our school would take the Jesus film out. We tried to work with them in reading the Bible, but Pokat is not a written language. So Crew Ministry dubbed over the Jesus film in the Pokat's native language. So this was the first time that the Pokat have heard of Jesus, and one of the only ways that we can teach them about Jesus, the older generations, because they do not speak Swahili, they do not speak English. I was speaking Kiswahili to one of the older men, and he told me in English, that's not my language. Okay. So now we no longer have to take a big van. Thanks to modern technology, back in February, I took a high definition projector that's probably about this big and runs off of battery, a Bluetooth speaker that's a little bit bigger, and a laptop. And now the preacher, the nurse, and our cook jump onto a motorcycle, all 3 on 1 on a dirt bike, and they head out into the bush to talk to the villagers and to teach them about Jesus. So we're able to do it cheaper and able to do it more often because of that. We also have evangelism. And within evangelism, we have the celebration of Christian womanhood and the celebration of Christian manhood. And it's so important to teach the women of Christian views and how to respect their bodies and how they should be respected. Like Michaela said, women are a type of currency, as well as children, as well as cattle. And so the more women, children, and cattle you have, the more that you're seen. And something that we battle even still today is female genitalia mutilation. It is considered a rite of passage for the women to have this procedure done. And it's not done in a clinical way. It's done very...
it's very rough. It's
very,
a very rough tradition.
Yeah. And it causes a lot of scar tissue, and that complicates birth for the mother and the child. A lot of the time we lose both, as well as Christian manhood, teaching the men what it means to be a man of Christ, to live and to treat others like Jesus and take care of each other. So these are very important things for our community to learn.
And then our next pillar is outreach.
So outreach, we have a few things that we do with that. We have community prayer days. We just had a big celebration. The students are doing their national exams, and so we bring in their families to pray over the students. That is something that we see very wide. The children and their families will wake up in the morning and pray. Thank God for their community. Thank God for everybody here. We do relief food as well, and we have a part of the shamba is sectioned off so that the single mothers within the community can come and grow their own crops. And they have the option to keep it for themselves to feed their family. The school will buy it, so that way we save a little money on purchasing outside, but also giving them a source of income. Or they can take it to market that happens every Wednesday in the local village that's nearby.
Yeah. So then another big part of our outreach is our Cope House that is on our property, but we still consider it outreach because it's used to be Barb's house. She used to live here, and eventually children would come to live with her because they knew that she was a safe, kind woman, and there's so many orphan children in the region. But now it's just a rescue house, and so we have a matron that runs it when we're not there. When we are there, we live there with our children, and we have 64 children who are currently in Cope House. They range from, I think our youngest is 4 and our oldest is 19 who are in Cope House right now. We see them all the way through their education. Some of them go to college even. One of our Cope House kids just graduated with a nursing degree, which is incredible to consider that 25 years ago, our school was the very first school in West Pokot, Kenya, just teaching reading and writing, and now they're going to get a BSN in nursing. Is just incredible, and so we're so proud of them. But they come to live with us for all sorts of reasons, usually because home is not safe or they've been orphaned for some reason. HIV, AIDS is very prevalent still, malaria, those sorts of things. These are our kids back in 2006. Milka's in this picture. She got her nursing degree. She's in the front row. And then the boy in the front row who's doing like the Spider-Man pose, yeah, that one. He ended up growing up and becoming one of our members of admin, which is really cool. And then relief food is another big area of outreach that we have. Yeah,
so relief food, we have a group of people, there's 300 of them. Some of them have some children that they're taking care of, but these are the poorest, sickest, and oldest people within the community. Because Pokot were nomadic, if you were old and sick, you got left behind. You couldn't keep up with the rest of the tribe. So they do not take care of their elderly even today. We're slowly starting to see that transition with the first generation that grew up with Cope around starting to take care of their elderly, take care of their parents. So we have 300 people that we will feed probably until they pass on a weekly basis. In June, I woke up in the morning of my birthday to a video sent to us by one of our admin members of 1,000 people at our gates begging for food because they were starving. There was a big, I don't know what a group of army worms is called. I know like crows is a murder and stuff like that. So
like an infestation.
An infestation of army worms came in and just took out all of their crops. So they were able to replant, and couple of weeks ago, received another message that the rain didn't come as much as they wanted to. So they were in a drought and they lost their crops. So typically around this time when they would be doing a harvest, they can't. So we're going to jump back up to that 1,000 people if we can afford it. As of right now, we cannot. I think we can feed about 700 of those families.
It costs $2.13 to feed a family for a week in West Pocot. So it's about $12 a month, and that's one of the things we're always trying to get funding for, is to keep up with the need. We need more funding to do that.
Each of these people that we feed represents on an average of 10 people within their family. So 1,000 people coming to eat, beg for food,
10,000.
that's 10,000 people that need food.
So then another big part of our outreach is our sponsorship program. And this is a cool part of our outreach because it plugs you guys in with us personally. And what we do is kids in the community who parents can't afford to send them to school, or their medical care, or they're not eating, or they don't have parents, we put them in this program, and they go to school, and we take care of their medical needs, so like deworming and malaria treatment, which is huge. They pay for their exams, their uniforms, their 2 meals a day, anything that they need, shoes, we get it for these kids. And we suggest about $40 a month for this because it takes care of all of those things. And it's really cool because you get to have a connection with the kid. They write letters back and forth, you get their picture. The younger ones will draw you pictures, which is hilarious sometimes. But one of the really cool things about this is the kids are in the program because they don't have a grown-up that can take care of them or that's looking out for them. So having a grown-up in a different country who is taking care of all their needs, looking after them, loving them, writing them letters, and showing them affection in the name of Jesus literally changes their lives. Yeah. This is one of the easiest and most potent ways to put Jesus in the heart of a child, is to show what people will do in the name of this man. And that is super incredible. This picture is kids getting their sandals. They get sandals once a term because they wear through them so fast playing soccer.
Yeah, the boy in front has his kicking foot, his toes are sticking out.
Yeah.
In the pink.
But the boys are smiling in this picture because they're taking a picture with the girls. If we had separated them out, they would have been really macho, and they never ever smile when they're separated, but when they're next to the girls, they're like. So they're really cute in this picture. It's my favorite. Okay, you can go to the next. Yep, and they're new stuff.
So new with Cope, that's the Shamba there. As you can see, they have the raised beds. Sorry, that was a tangent off. But yeah, so new with Cope, we just hired a new Pastor Jeremiah. He came to us from Eldoret. He visited our compound on a mission trip, or a medical mission trip, with Dr. Cotterman. Dr. Cotterman was in Kenya for, I think, 6 months, and brought Pastor Jeremiah down to see who the Pocot are, and God spoke to Pastor Jeremiah. What's amazing about it, and is a message from God and how he is moving within these people. Pastor Jeremiah grew up as a Maasai. It's a different tribe within the valley that is very much at war with the Pocot. A long time ago, it's, I guess, one of their biggest rivals. And Pastor Jeremiah, hearing from God, you need to come to these people. So now you have a Maasai man teaching, educating, and working with the Pocot men. Is just an incredible act of God. Where Pastor Jeremiah lived was very much like what we have here in Eldoret. They have a big shopping mall, they have electricity, running water, jobs are very abundant, and he came to visit, and God told him, this is where you need to come, this is where you need to bring your family. So he moved in with his wife here, who now works with in our Cope house as one of our matrons to take care of the children. He moved there with his 4 children. His youngest daughter is currently attending our first primary school. Yeah. So it's absolutely amazing to have him within our compound.
It's so great. And then our pasture mill is another new thing we have. Our pasture mill is a mill that grinds corn into flour, which is obviously very important because they use corn flour to make ugali, which is what they eat every single day. Our construction started in September of last year, and it was done at the end of October. Yeah. It was incredibly fast, which was really cool. In the last picture, you can see the kids all gathered around to bless the pasture mill, which is something we do whenever there's a new building. Another new thing is our school got a new kitchen. It was this was our old kitchen. They cooked over an open fire for 700 kids for breakfast and lunch every day. It was very smoky. Devin took the picture and ran out because he didn't like the smoke.
Nope.
And so we had finally funded for them to get Jikos, which are kind of like enclosed ovens. The fire's underneath it, but it's all enclosed, and there's a chimney system. And we want to do this also for the Cope House kitchen eventually, because our Cope House kids cook over an open fire still. And I mean, there are kids between the ages of 11 and 19 that cook in the kitchen, but it would still be really, really great to have an enclosed system there. So that's another new thing we have. And then the next big new thing is that we have decided that we want to lead a mission trip to the region next summer. This will be the first mission trip in over 10 years, I believe, that has brought someone else that's not a board member to the region. We want to take 12 to 15 adults. You'll lead a VBS, be part of a medical outreach, be part of relief food, get to visit with the community and all of that. And so if that's something you're interested in, please come visit us at the table. We'll have more information. And then I have some areas of need I just put up here for you guys, because everyone always like, well, what's the big areas? And our general fund could use a lot of help after COVID. Our Good Samaritan program, we only have 30 kids left. There's 140 kids in the program. Only 30 don't have sponsors. So sponsoring a kid would be a big help, and then relief food like we talked about. And our biggest need really is prayer, just for people to just cover our mission in prayer for discernment, wisdom, safety, health, rain, just pray for rain all the time. And then a new prayer update. This morning I got a message that one of our Cope House boys was a 7-year-old, climbed a tree, fell and broke his leg. So if you could pray for him, he was climbing up the mango tree again. So. But
he's casted. They sent a video of him, or a picture of him with the cast on.
Full cast all the way down.
He's smiling, so he's doing okay.
Probably like the special treatment.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just close by reading this letter. I just got it this morning from Dr. Kottaman. It was sent from our oldest Cope House girl. And one of the things we wanted to challenge you guys to do is we have 64 Cope House kids, and we like to give them a Christmas present every year. And so it's about $10 a kid to get them a completely new outfit and shoes and something nice. So that's about $640 that if Lincoln Christian Church could help us fund that, that'd be amazing. But this is a letter from Ruth. And she goes, from Cope House children to our dearest sponsor. She's one of our older children. She goes, how are you all doing? We hope that you are all fine in the Lord the way we are, hence in Pocot are fine. We all want to say thank you for everything that you people have done to our lives. We highly appreciate and find no words to express our feelings. We are grateful because you took us from the darkest moments in our lives and showed us light, gave us hope, and made our future brighter. We will never ever stop thanking you guys for all the things you have done to us. You may not realize the depth of the impact you have made in our lives, but we assure you it is so deep, in fact, almost bottomless. You took us from loneliness and gave us a sense of belonging. You feed us on a daily basis and ensure we do not sleep on empty stomachs, and for that we are sincerely grateful. You ensure that we are all well clothed and feel like every other happy person out there. For that too we are wholly grateful. Above all, you ensure our school fees are paid on time and all other educational needs are met. That being our future and our hope, we will never find enough words to thank you guys for. Thank you all once again for the life you gave us. We are therefore so correct to say we owe you our lives. Even though we may be worlds apart or interracial, we have deep emotional and spiritual connection with you all. Most of us may not have our biological moms and dads, but we sure do have mom and dad in all of you. We have prayer warriors who will always have our backs in every situation. We also have dear brothers and sisters in your children. This big family of ours is complete because of you all. We have an identity because of all of you, and we will never run short of words of gratitude for you all. Thank you all for giving us hope once again. A beautiful, big family and a wonderful home. We will always love you all. God bless you. Yours faithfully, Ruth and the Cope House kids. So thank you for your continued support of Cope. It's literally changing lives, and we can't wait to visit with you after service.